This question comes from at Jeff Zitz 7258. The question is, how should highly variable expenses such as college, healthcare, and travel fit into a retirement withdrawal plan? Model them. That's the best answer I can give. Is we should model base case, moderate case, and a very expensive case, right? So like the least expensive, the middle expense, and the high expense, and see what each of those does to our probability of needing to make a spending adjustment, to the size of the spending adjustment, and to the reduction in our starting spending capacity. And in my opinion is we should basically be only willing to retire if the cases that we see lead us to a comfortable spending capacity such that we could enjoy our quality of life if those eventualities were to happen. And we'll never have perfect line of sight to what exact estimates we should use for those expenses, but I think it can be reassuring to hear that a 5 or 7% or even a 10% error on an expense estimate is not generally going to be plan breaking. I mean, it can be if it's in $1 million expense, 10% could be, but if it's a $50,000 expense, it's often not plan breaking. The types of expenses that are plan breaking are things that are of very high magnitude, meaning a large expense, like a $1 million expense, that would be plan breaking, or of a moderate magnitude, but a high frequency, something that recurs for many years and I've gotten wrong by 10%, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's assume we put the wrong expense in. It's a $10,000 a year expense and we've got it wrong by 100%. It should be 20. And that $10,000 expense continues for 20 years of retirement. That would be plan breaking. Putting in a $10,000 expense that should be a $12,000 expense for 6 years, almost never plan breaking. It does depend obviously on your margin of safety, but generally speaking, it could give you some idea. There's always this juxtaposition between two terms that I call, that the way I think about them is there's magnitude and there's probability. The magnitude is the size of the size of the consequence, and the probability is the likelihood of the consequence. Oftentimes, those things are inverse, almost in the same way that risk and reward are inverse, right? So the higher reward something is, the more risky it is. They're inverse. So higher risk, higher reward, whatever. Lower risk, lower reward. It's similar for magnitude and consequence. The higher magnitude something is, the lower the probability of its occurrence. The lower the magnitude something is, the higher probability of its occurrence. As an easy, simple example, the likelihood we'll have an expense misidentified by $1, very high probability, right? The likelihood we'll have an expense that's off by 1,000 times or 100 times, very, very low probability. That would be negligence in most cases. The times where that happens are mostly negligence, if that makes sense, or error. So hopefully that helped. Thanks for the great question at Jeff Zitz 7258. Real quick, let me show you the exact 3-pillar comprehensive retirement roadmap that takes retirees from uncertainty to peace of mind that less than 1% of retirees actually have in place. Now, I've built hundreds of these for retirees, and I can say with a high degree of confidence that these are the 3 pillars every retiree needs to have in place in order to have full confidence that they're not missing anything in their retirement plan. And I broke each of these down by the specific questions. You can see them here that each needs to be answered and the best way to answer them. Now, we've done this across pre-retirees, recent retirees, married couples, single retirees, $1 million portfolios, $10 million portfolios, all the above, and it works. And it's my gift to you today. It's absolutely free. It's in the first link in the description below this video. It's going to say free comprehensive retirement roadmap training. Just click the link, enter your info, and you'll get instant access all for free.